Welcome to 5 Minute Friday. Once again, we all know it's not going to be 5 minutes, but I appreciate you turning up here today. And today I am over the moon to welcome my guest, Andrew Perry, who is not only an awesome real estate agent, but he's also a good friend and an ex-colleague. So, Andrew, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And it's so good to see you. So, Andrew has worked in the real estate industry for over 7 years, and he and I worked together for a year. We were in a coaching company together called Shaw Coaching. And so, Andrew, I'm interested. You've 7 years experience in real estate, but you've decided now to become a realtor. So why have you decided to take that leap from working in the industry to actually getting licensed and becoming a realtor?
Well, I mean, I think it's for me, it's about time, because I've done so much of the back office work in real estate. That's where I got my start. And then I pivoted from that into coaching, help working at a coaching company for real estate agents. So I've seen not only the whole transaction process, but also the I guess the things that agents need to be doing in their businesses to really succeed and to reach that next level. So I feel that having all of that composite experience, it just makes sense for me to try some of it myself and try being an agent, myself this time. Still
Yeah,
doing back office stuff, still doing mainly operations, but being licensed and actually being, a real estate salesperson.
yeah. And there's a big difference from telling someone how to do it and then doing it yourself, right?
Yeah, no, it's very true. Well, because in coaching, it's always they talk about implementation is the big thing, because you think you show up to a coaching call and maybe by osmosis, by just showing up, you'll all of a sudden be a better agent. And that's not really how it works. You have to show up, listen, learn, and then implement
Apply.
it in your day to day. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
and and so that takes accountability, it takes honesty, it takes a certain sense of being willing to try new things. And so those are all life lessons that I've learned in my career that I'm now excited to apply, to
And so
this.
these are all the skills that you've already learned that you're ready to go ahead with. I mean, you
Yeah.
come fully loaded, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I think about it a little bit like, I've been sort of working in the lab and now I'm actually like experimenting with things and now I really get to do it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I get to test out the things that I've learned in coaching and then in formerly working for another team in New York City in my new role and as an agent myself. So it's a lot of possibilities. It's a lot of potential.
That's great. That's really great. And I'm delighted for you. I really am. So, what are you most excited about as a realtor?
I think it's getting to meet new people. I think that is, I know that this business really is all about relationships. I love getting to meet with clients at showings and open houses and meet other brokers from other brokerages. But I also really love now being in an office and getting to meet other people in the city and other agents. Because, as the coaching company that I was working at was remote for 3 years. So for 3 years, I was working remotely with some office days, but mainly by myself. And, I'm in New York City, which is filled with people. And these offices, even in sort of the dead of summer, are filled with interesting people. And so every day I get to go and meet new agents, new admins, new people that just have really amazing backstories that are surprising and fun. And yeah, it's been really great for networking and making connections.
That's really interesting that you mentioned the office, return to the office, because for so long people didn't want to go back to an office. And I know
Mhm.
two of my nieces actually changed jobs because they wanted to go back to an office. Now that sounds like hell to me, but that's my perspective. That's like, oh hell no. I'll never do that. That's why I'm self-employed.
Yeah. No, no. Well, at first, because I am in the office about 5 days a week now, and going from 5 days remote. So it was a big change at first, and it still is every now and then, a little bit of a change. I can't maybe stay out as late as I used to. I can't go to the gym in the middle of the day, but I still I just love being around people. And like
Yeah.
I said, I mean, the people that I met in at this, at Elliman, the brokerage that I'm at now, they're the agents alone. I mean, the clients are amazing, but the agents have such amazing backstories. One of them, I just learned co-directed one of my favorite movies of all time. And I
Really?
had no idea, yeah, the movie Goodfellas. And I had
No
no
way.
idea. I had no idea. I looked her up because she was interesting. So I thought, oh, I wonder what her backstory is. So I looked her up. She was on IMDb and also on, the Element site. So I thought, oh, so she must be in film. And then I look it up, and she co-directed like all of these like Martin Scorsese movies, JFK. Yeah. Anyway, just an
No
amazing
way.
person,
That
and with
is
this
so.
life.
And you go,
Yeah,
why are
yeah.
you a realtor? Did you ask her?
I did. I did. Well, and it's because she had a family, so she wanted to step back from the chaos of filmmaking, that was
Going to
a
the
few
chaos
years
of real
ago.
estate.
Right, right, right. I know. But it's just so interesting that. But this is true of a lot of agents. I remember this from coaching. Because we would have a coaching client at CSC, and they would be, either really nice or really interesting, have an interesting personality. So I would look them up and just see, oh, what's their background? And it would always be something that, was not what you would expect. Either they're like a chemical, like an engineer or something, or they're an actor, or they're, a classical musician, and then they're in real estate. So I just think that is part and parcel of finding your way to this business. Is you're probably coming from some other interesting life experience, because being an agent alone is, I think, a very interesting career path. And so you have to be a unique individual to even think about pursuing it. The instability, the risk, but also the reward if you do it right. Yeah, it's not for everybody.
I think you really hit the nail on the head when you said about how you love people, and
Mhm.
being a people person. I think that's really fundamental in being a successful real estate agent is your love of people. So now you are fully licensed. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
you're welcome. So what are your new challenges now as a new agent? What are the challenges you feel you're facing?
Well, I would say, there are certain challenges that will never change, that are very obvious, like building your book of business from scratch. Most agents, I think, come into this business with, a Rolodex or whatever, a contact list that is, not insubstantial, but it's not huge, and so they really have to work their sphere, and they really have to be patient and hope that those relationships will pay off, and they don't always do that right away. So then you have to pursue expireds, or for sale by owner, or whatever it might be, other avenues. So it's always hard just getting started and building that book of business. But something that I've realized in the last 3 months of doing this and getting licensed is that it's also very expensive. There are a lot of fees, and I don't know how it's like in other markets, but I mean, in New York alone, you're paying the fee to take the course, to learn the material, you're paying to take the exam, you're paying for your brokerage, onboarding fees, business fees, insurance fees. You're paying REBNY to be, licensed as well, and that's in addition to what you pay the brokerage. It's just a lot of money that you have to lay out up front, and also, of course, equipment.
I
So
was
you're
going to
paying if
say
you
that
don't
a
have
bit
a
of tech.
yeah, if you I mean if you need a decent laptop, or at least an iPad, and ideally you probably need both.
Yeah.
Um, and then, I mean, it's nice if you're at the right brokerage that has the right tech tools for you. You can always leverage those, and they're included in your business package. But if you don't like those tools, or if you're used to using something else, then you have to pay for most agents out of pocket for those, whether that's a CRM or your preferred email marketing service platform. So it's a lot of money that you have to lay out day one, not knowing when your next paycheck is going to be coming in.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
it's very
very
intimidating.
fair. Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet it is. And I think that's a really fair point. And don't forget you have to get your own website and your own separate
Yeah.
email
Yeah.
and, a web
And
developer maybe.
right,
I
right.
know.
And I know, I know. Well, yes, of course, of course. No, and then something else I thought of, because I was talking to another agent the other day, if you come in and you've never been 1099 before, then you
Yeah,
realize, oh, I also have to set aside money for taxes. So
taxes.
that's a whole portion of your commission, hopefully, that you're like, 20 to 30% that you're setting aside. And then also, if you're a new agent, your whatever commission structure you have with your brokerage is not going to be necessarily as generous or as favorable if you're an experienced agent. So it's going to be, your brokerage is going to be taking a little bit more. So it's just all of these,
So if you were going to
things.
put a price tag on that, Andrew, how much do you think for New York, new agent, how much do you think you're forking out before you ever earn any money? Before your
I
first
would
sale?
say at least 2 to 3 grand.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say 2 grand probably.
Okay.
And I say that because I'm thinking about my fees, which are a little smaller only because I'm coming in halfway through the year. But when you're paying
Oh, okay.
for the full year at a time, like they've already told me what I'm going to be expected to pay for all of 2025.
Right.
And because these fees, a lot of them, they recur every year. And that alone is like 1,500. So when
Right.
you tack on the additional expenses that come with, the one-time expenses, yeah, probably 2 grand, 2 to 3 grand.
2 grand, 2, 3.
Um,
Yeah, that's a lot when you're starting out,
it
right?
is. Yeah.
It really
I
is.
mean, it is. It is.
No.
It's funny because I used to act. I used to be an actor in New York, and it's a lot of ways. It's a little bit similar. Like you get up here, and you've moved up to the city, and you have your rent, and you have all of these fixed expenses, and then just to be an actor, you have to invest in kind of the same things: headshot, website, potentially union dues, an audition service so you can actually go to auditions. I mean, for any of these jobs that are a little bit unstable, I think there are a lot of costs up front in order to like play the game and like enter into
Yeah.
that
Well,
career.
you're an entrepreneur. You're your own
Yeah,
company. So at the
that's
end of
right.
the day,
That's
it's
right.
all on you. So
Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's true. But it makes it even more intimidating. I can't believe, I'm on a team and I'm mainly doing back office stuff, but I'm amazed and so impressed by the people that I meet who are around my age, um, at Elliman, who are individual agents doing it themselves without team support. They're incredible. They really hustle.
but they're
So
probably been at it a good bit longer, Andrew.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
You got to give yourself some grace and give yourself some time, please.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I know. I will.
I
I
know.
will.
You got to go there. So I'm going to ask you for your ideal client. Who would your ideal client be? Someone walking in from the street, or off their private jet. Who are they?
Yeah, private jet, please. No, well, like we said, somebody who is looking to buy and sell and buy at a very high price point. And basically, also comes from a large family, and everybody in the family is looking to sell and buy. And somebody who also only wants to communicate between the hours of like 9 and 5, no overtime.
9 to 5.
Um, something that would be ideal. No, I think the ideal client would be, somebody who is realistic about the market, realistic about what this partnership means, who doesn't expect insane results. But I also feel like that is the responsibility of the agent too, not to overpromise as
Yeah.
well. It's better to underpromise a little bit and overdeliver. But somebody who's rational, understanding, somebody who respects boundaries, but also is very wealthy and
Come all
you
cat.
know come all cash. And yeah, this person doesn't exist. These people are they're used to getting their way. So I get that.
So Andrew, if you were going to talk to somebody who's on the fence about going into it, what would you say?
I would say for me, it's best to start, on a team. I do think the teams, I know that there's, sort of a newer phenomenon, 20 years or so in the industry. Like they haven't been around for a super long time, but I think that the team structure is really beneficial to a newer agent, especially because I think that the way that most teams are structured is, you have your principal team leader who is the one who's really going out and getting the business. And if you're an agent on the team, you're mainly showing, you're mainly learning the ropes from the team lead. You might be accompanying them on pitches, but you're not responsible for closing the deal. But you are there in the background, sometimes more active, learning and getting firsthand experience. So I would recommend joining a team. But I also think you have to be realistic about the expense, the risk. You have to have a lot of savings. If you want to,
Yeah.
But it's funny because then I think sometimes the best agents are the ones that don't, like the best actors are the ones that don't even think about those things, because they have such a sense of confidence that they're like, of course I'm going to make it. What do you mean? There's no other option. So that's part of it too. It's
But
a
there's
weird
nothing more
dichotomy.
attractive than confidence, right? You
That's
can
true.
wear the best suit or whatever, but confidence comes across in every business dealing, no matter what you're doing.
That's very true. That's very true.
So I am now going to put your details on the screen. It's Andrew Perry at Elliman.com. His phone number is 703-244-7768. And I can personally vouch for Andrew, who is a stand-up character, great fun, and very honest. And he says 9 to 5, but he will work every hour for you. He's a phenomenal person.
Oh, don't say that out loud. Oh God, no, I'll get calls.
No, you're blushing. I love that. Thanks for
Well,
coming on. I really appreciate
of course. Thank you for having me. This is amazing.
And I want you to come back and tell us about your first sale.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Perfect. See you then. Bye-bye.